So I reviewed the Galaxy S10 Plus, and about a month before that, I revisited the S9 Plus. Unsurprisingly, the conclusion I came to was that both are excellent phones, but when compared to one another, the gap between the two, depending on who you are, can be considered pretty small. Just how much better is the S10 than the S9, and does it offer enough to warrant an upgrade? The S9 was a pretty light, incremental update from the S8 with an almost identical design and a few tweaks here and there. As unimpressive as those changes might have been, they were necessary. But with it being so incredibly similar to the S8, we saw a lot of people just stick with their S8s because to them, what was the point of upgrading? The S9 was and still is a very good phone, and it made for a solid bridge to what was to come next. And up next, we got the more modern looking S10 with its bigger display, considerably smaller bezels, a more handsome, boxy, note-like shaped footprint, and its much shinier frame. Now I can't speak for everyone, but this is the type of design refresh we like to see. More screen, less bezel, and no notch, while keeping the core features including the headphone jack. I don't know about you guys, but the S10's design is really something to look at, and it kind of makes the S9 look a little outdated. Now don't get me wrong, the S9 is still a slick, simple, good-looking phone with equally premium hardware and a super crisp infinity display of its own. And it's not like its bezels are massive or anything. It's just when you put them side by side that, well, you get the point. As you guys know, I use dbrand skins to keep the look and feel of my phones fresh and unique over time. You can check out these and other skins they have to offer using the link in the description. So is design the only difference between the two? Absolutely not. Not only did the design get a beautiful makeover, the internals got the usual refresh as well. New processor, more RAM, more storage in its base model, and a bigger battery. In real-world usage, these things do prove to be very good improvements over the previous generation, and they provide better performance across the board. Fluidity, speed, optimization, battery life, it's all better on the S10, as it should be. It's not to the point where it makes the S9 look like a horrible, laggy mess, but the S10 does perform a noticeable amount better than the S9. Now, battery life was the big difference for me. I get anywhere from 6 to 7 hours of screen on time with my S10 Plus, which is a good amount more than I ever got with my S9 Plus. And again, with those upgraded internals, the S10 is better equipped for a power user like myself. But don't get it twisted, the S9 Plus is still a very good performer and can definitely hold its own even a year later. There's nothing I do on my S10 that my S9 couldn't handle. Now there are a few things I've seen people sorta roll their eyes at with the S10 in comparison to the S9, and other phones for that matter. First thing being the Fingerprint Reader. The S9's, mounted on the back, is more practical, it's more accurate, and for me personally, placed in a more natural spot. Not to mention the added functionality of being able to swipe down to access the notification shade, which the S10 obviously cannot pull off. The S10's Ultrasonic Scanner is really cool technology when you think about it, and in my experience it has been pretty good. However, not everyone has had that same experience unfortunately, and this is where I've seen a lot of users voice their disappointment, even to the point where they feel that this is a step backwards. The next thing is that display cutout. Sure, it's better than a notch, but it's still a cutout nonetheless, and some people just don't like it, especially when it comes to watching videos. The S9 has no display interruptions to speak of, and some prefer that. This really boils down to personal preference. I will admit though that with the display cutout, there have been some really neat ways to kind of have fun with that display cutout, whether it's a battery life indicator or a wallpaper. It's really fun. Now, as far as cameras go, I will say that picture quality in regular shots won't be the main reason you'd want to upgrade from the S9 to the S10. I mean, look at these two shots side by side. Can you tell which phone took which shot? Let me know in the comments below. There's no question that the S10 cameras are better overall though, and have been tweaked a good amount with things like added stabilization for video recording. Especially the main front-facing camera. Results here are better as well, and it can now record in 4K, which I think is huge. It's also clearly worth mentioning that the S10 is way more versatile when it comes to actually taking pictures. That ultra-wide angle lens is awesome. It's not perfect, and if you're a pro, you'll definitely notice its imperfections, but it's still fun to use and it's very useful. Either way, both phones provide a nice feature-filled camera experience. The S10 just tops it pound for pound with its added functionality. So, better performance, better battery life, better cameras, a few new features, a more modern design, are these things worth the upgrade? In my eyes, Yes. After having used the S9 Plus for a long time and eventually moving over to the S10 Plus, I've never looked back, and I've enjoyed the S10 Plus a lot more. It's undoubtedly the better phone, especially if we're talking long term. However, that's just me. If you already have an S9 and you're content with what you have, don't feel obligated to upgrade. It's still a very strong phone. The S10 Plus is currently my favorite phone. It's a beast, but it isn't groundbreaking. If you need that extra battery life, more robust performance, a more versatile set of cameras, and you want that new, fresh look, then yeah, go for the S10 Plus, as long as you can stomach that heavy price tag. And if that price is a concern, I recommend you do one of 4 things. Wait a little bit for that price to come down, go for the regular S10, check out the S10e, which has a lot of what makes the S10 great in a more compact footprint for a few $100s less. Or if you don't have either of these phones, you can save even more and grab an S9 Plus online. If you do some hunting around, you can find a lightly used or new unlocked S9 Plus for around $500. So what do you guys think about the S10 and S9? Let us know by dropping your comments down below. As always, we love to hear your feedback. Anyway, that does it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe to the Android Police channel if you're new. I will talk to you guys later, and thank you so much for watching.